Is there anything else tactical wise that you do to serve other people in order to bring about reciprocity, not just for yourself, but for themselves as well?
What are your challenges? What's your goals? How long have you been in business? Let's use those three. There's three questions you can ask. It will lead to conversations, to paths you never thought would lead to. Because as they talk and you learn something, you go, oh, you just mentioned a word. And now you're serving like crazy. That serving machine is going out there.
You mentioned something earlier about spirituality and the energy component to it. How has that played a role in your journey?
You look at every leader that's really, really good leader, a servant leader, a bold leader, a strong leader, is they serve. He had a greatest phrase for leadership. Somebody comes up to you and says, I'm a leader. You ask one question. Who are you mentoring today? Not who you drilling, who you yelling at, who you screaming at, who you being negative to. Who are you mentoring, helping them learn and educate? If they tell you nobody, at this time, you're not a leader.
You're listening to Rise from the Ashes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for part two. I'm here with Steve Ramona, and this is Rise from the Ashes podcast, Burnout to Brilliance. In the first part of this, we spoke to Steve about his journey coming from the depths of remind me now because I've forgotten, the health club, into successful businesses, helping other people. I want to dive into the weaknesses that you've come across within yourself and things you've always had to work on, but ultimately come out the other side with, because we're all human beings and we all have this perception that we're less than something, or we perceive to be as imposter syndrome. How imposter syndrome showed up for you, not just in the people you've interviewed, but in yourself as well?
Yes, thank you. I've been on hundreds of shows. This is the greatest question I've ever been asked, because we have to be humble and transparent. And one of the biggest things was I earned, as I told you all at 18, how to serve. But what I didn't know until I met this multimillionaire who serves and made millions serve. I'm like, oh, what's your secret sauce? So I told him, hey, I'd give you 12 referrals, 5 or whatever that is, give you value. And then you would ask me, how can I help? And I literally put my hand up. This is video. I put my hand up in the screen like, no, I'm good. Well, first, that's the stop sign. He says, you're screwing it up. And I'm like, God, I just met this guy. Wait a minute. But then he says, let me explain why. And this is a big tip for everybody. He says, Steve, you give people and he called them gifts. That's where I got that word. You just gave me 3 gifts, let's say. And I ask you because I'm so excited. I'm so thankful to help me. When you say no, you turn yourself into an a-hole, into a taker. I said, okay, Tony, explain that. He goes, they're not going to walk away thinking we're an a-hole. They're going to be happy for the gifts, but their subconscious is going, this ain't good. That's what controls us. So people are just not thinking about you afterwards. Like, got all these gifts. And we don't think about it consciously. It's the subconscious. And I'll tell you what, Baz, the next day, somebody asked me, I said, I need help with this. I got 14 referrals from 5 people because I asked. And I now get 3 to 5 referrals daily. I'm looking at my calendar or my email. I've got 2 referrals right now because I asked for them. And when you open the door, we were just talking about in the break about how that you opened that door so magically, you can ask. Universe, Lord, God, whatever you want to call it, doesn't want us not to ask. If you're doing good, receive good back. It's a reciprocal thing, law of reciprocity. But you have to take that step to ask. But I'm going to take it even deeper, and this is a big step. I developed this principle called the ASLA principle. Ask, shut up, listen, ask. Now, people tell me all the time, and they smile, and you smile, and thank you, Baz. They go, oh, shut up and listen are the same. No, they're not. Let's think about those 2 actions. Let's look at a Zoom room for your business or a networking group, whatever. And there's 10 people there. Well, if 2 people's screens are black or it's just their picture, they're not live, they've shut up. They literally, we can't hear them, or people muted. They've shut up. But if they walked away to answer the door, go to the bathroom, get a drink, I'm not saying those are bad things, but let's take that action. Are they really listening? I'm in my office. I walk to the front door. I can't hear what's going on. So I'm not listening. So I can't serve people unless I shut up and listen and learn what that person needs, what values them. And then the most important thing was Tony added was the ask. So I hear, Baz, you need this and this. I've got a couple people I think that can help you. By the way, what are other challenges you have? So you bring them, serve them, ask more questions, serve them, ask more questions. Now you've built this serving cake that's full of beautiful chocolate with a cherry on top. That, guess what? Most of the time people ask me, God, this has been so great, Steve. How can I support you? Here's a great story. So I was asked to mentor a bartender. Guy was a guest on my podcast. He wants to start a business. I'm super pumped. I love when young people want to start a business because it's really a great opportunity. Again, I wish I was 24 because me and you would be blowing it out, but that's a side note. So I met with him and just brought him so much value and opened my email and text to go reach out anytime. His next question was, how can I support you, Steve? This has been fabulous. I'm looking for a guest. I want a rock star, a business person that has influenced, da, 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 da. Well, interesting. I know the vice president of Google. I went, oh, okay. This is a bartender. Did I know he knew the vice president of Google? Hell no. Would never have thought that. But because I asked, he's not been on my podcast, but we're still working on it. I've had billionaires come on my podcast because I asked my guest, hey, you know so-and-so. I'd love it. And an hour later, I get an email introduction, and 2 days later, they're on my podcast because I asked again. Ask, shut up, listen, ask. I listened that he had a great Forbes Riley. I'll put it out there. She's a multi-billionaire.
I know it.
She was on my podcast. Now, I love podcasting because, and I know you do too, because anything else, you wouldn't have met with me. But because I was able to get her message out, it was good. So that ask, shut up, listen, ask principle, it works so well. Anybody can do it. An 8-year-old kid to a 95-year-old person. Ask, shut up, and listen. That works for your life and your business.
Talking of Forbes, shout out to her. She's actually appearing on the podcast as well. I've known her for 3 or 4 years, and I've been trying to get her an interview with her. I spoke to her years ago, so shout out to Dr. Forbes Riley there.
Yeah.
He's an awesome human being. And again, another example of service and helping others. Truly an inspiration. When we look at the aspects of strategic and tactical questions, you spoke about this briefly before, which I didn't prompt this. This is just leading into the next question. You mentioned something there about the structure you've created. Is there anything else tactical wise that you do to serve other people in order to bring about reciprocity, not just for yourself, but for themselves as well?
I have questions set up. Same questions.
Yeah.
What are your challenges? What's your goals? How long have you been in business? Let's use those 3. There's 3 questions you can ask. It will lead to conversations, to paths you never thought would lead to. Because as they talk and you learn something, you go, oh, you just mentioned a word. Well, you need to meet Frank because he's a great, and now you're serving like crazy. That serving machine is going out there. Here's another tip, and this is strategic in person or virtually. Look people in the eye. Don't go the eye over video, but don't turn around and go, hey, I got a great referral for you, for Riley. I got this great referral for you. You don't have to yell like I do. I'm kind of a little louder than most, but look people in the eye, say their name. And if you forgot their name, say, hey, what was your name again? Baz. Hey, Baz, here's a great thing. Practice this. And I love your call to actions to your audience. I'm going to give them one today. Go out to a restaurant, grocery store, and when you're working to check out or pay your bill or work with the wait, whatever that may be, use their name 3 to 4 times. Debbie, thank you for the water. Debbie, man, this food was fantastic. Hey, Debbie, how's your family doing? You have kids, right? Your whole, I won't say opportunity, but that whole event will completely change. Again, I'm going back. People want to be seen, especially a clerk at a grocery store, the guy at the car wash. Hey, Fernando, thank you. That was a great wash. Yeah, audience, you could just say, hey, that was a great wash, and that's okay. But when you pinpoint and use a name, it changes the whole dynamic.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's such a component there. I love what you speak into there. 2 reasons. One, on a psychological level, you're making it personal. If it's on a podcast or a video call, hi, Joseph, can you just please turn your camera on? And it's the delivery. It's turn your cameras on is different. Hi, Joseph, talking to you directly, can you just turn your camera on, please? It's a different delivery. And psychologically, you're not just calling them out, and it's not in a nasty way or derogatory way. You're being polite about it. So using the name of what you just said is not just powerful on a collective social level, but an internal psychological level, which I love that advice. Thank you very much for that, Steve. You mentioned, please.
Let me add one more strategic tip, because what I've done over the last 200 months, 200 managers at restaurants that I've talked to, I'm going to write a book called How to Be a Good Customer, not customer service, but the other side. You know, we've heard the people screaming, yeah, so I do this all the time. I did a couple of weeks ago, me and my wife were out to dinner, and I grabbed the waitress, said, can you grab your manager? We know what happens right away. Something bad. Oh my God. And you can see them talking, going, and it's stern. You can tell the manager, like, so they come walking over. Okay. So how can I help you? Hey, what's your name? Hey, Trisha, Steve. Nice to meet you. The waitress is unbelievable. If I had a restaurant, I'd try to hire her away from me. She's that good. She was conversating, all that. And the lady was literally shaking. It really was emotional to her. And it doesn't happen all the time, but once in a while. And I go, Trish, how often do you hear that? She goes, well, I did hear it during Christmas Eve, but maybe once a month. I talked to a manager that's been there 20 years, not this restaurant, another one last year. He's heard it once a year consistently for 20 years. Once a year, hey, your staff has done a good job. You want to be a better servant? Go out and tell your servers, tell the people that are at the front lines that they're doing a good job, and tell their supervisor and manager, because people aren't doing it. That's a great way to serve.
And it also has another component as well, which I love what you mentioned there. It's acknowledgement. It's human acknowledgement. And in this service-based world, you see in Vegas and other places, in any restaurant, and they're not told. They're just treated like pieces of meat. It's the same with, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, a very good friend of mine. Her name is Lizzie Swain, friend of mine, Peter Swain's wife. And she was saying that they stopped calling their staff VAs. They stopped calling them VAs because VA, a virtual assistant, is looked down on. So in their company, they adopted this concept. And I love what this is speaking into. They treat them as human beings. And this is the expectation. This is the standard we're working at. If you do it wrong, we will tell you and we will course correct it. We don't work with everybody, but we're here to help and praise you. And they do proactively all of the time. But equally, when they mess up, they're like, you messed up. This is how you did. This is what happened. This is what we want you to do. But they're coaching and elevating their workforce, and they don't treat them like pieces of meat or a waitress like discarding them because they messed up at an order, whatever the situation is. Yeah. But to your point, Steve, you're treating them again like human beings. You're serving them where the level of respect is that they actually deserve. So they elevate themselves and they do more for the company, which is what I love. Thank you for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
Leadership and spirituality. You mentioned something earlier about spirituality and the energy component to it. How has that played a role in your journey?
You look at every leader that's really, really good leader, a servant leader, a bold leader, a strong leader, is they served. One of my guests, Oakland McCullough, who's a lieutenant general in the Army, I believe. I might be wrong, but a shout out to Oakland. Oak, I call him. He's a great guy. He had a greatest phrase for leadership. Somebody comes up to you and says, I'm a leader. You ask one question. Who are you mentoring today? Not who you drilling, who you yelling at, who you screaming at, who you being negative to. Who are you mentoring, helping them learn and educate? If they tell you nobody, at this time, you're not a leader. Once you start mentoring, you'll become that leader, and then they'll follow you. One of the reasons I do my podcast workshop, I want to mentor. I want to be a leader. I've got value that I can bring, and I love doing it. Can everybody be a leader or should be a leader? No. We all lead in certain capacities. We lead our animals. I love dogs. I teach my dog not to pee in the house, go outside, and you're leading, you're mentoring your dog. We get to that very level. If you think of it that way and make sure you're serving, and it's about them, not about you, because I believe every coach and every leader, when their students, customer, whatever you want to call them, gets accolades, you should be standing right there with them and clapping with them and be proud, not being, oh my God, this guy's passing me up. Happens in corporate all the time, and it really drives me crazy. A sales team, I worked with a group about 2 years ago, and one of the guys, he's like, how do I be a better sales guy? Serve your compadres, your salespeople. Well, how? I said, if you're hearing him on a sales call and you hear something you could bring value to, when he's done, hey, I heard you say this. Here, let me give you a tip what you can do next time.
Yeah.
You got to think of it this way, especially in sales, but anything. He goes, you're on a commission. You might just take a commission out of your pocket, but you've changed somebody's life. And what is he going to do? He's going to come and ask you for more. Now you're mentoring, you're becoming a leader. Top brass sees that, and maybe you get promoted. Maybe you get an increase in pay. Maybe the universe gets you a better job. Who knows? Again, we don't know that. But he came out to me 6 weeks later and goes, man, I have best friends now. We're going out getting a drink once a week because what I did. So see, that's building a relationship. It's not always transact. You transform them. Are you getting a transaction? No. But you're doing well. He goes, oh my God, it's funny. My commissions have grown. Mr. Universe has talked to you. You get people coming to you, knocking on your door that you never thought would.
I love that. And you mentioned another guest, Colonel Oakland, who I know him, a very nice guy. I've interviewed him on the podcast, season 3 or 4, I believe. But again, these are people who are of service. And this is who you attract. This is who gravitates naturally towards you, this is another reason why the list goes on, why I love what you do and how you show up for other people. I want to speak into briefly legacy, because it's a huge word, and it's a macro vision of what people want. So my question to you there, Steve, is what do you truly want, not just for yourself, but what do you want to be remembered for?
I want people to go, Steve Ramona served and brought me value, little or big. I want people to see that legacy and they learn from that legacy to do it themselves. I believe legacy mentors, educates, and grows other people. Teddy Roosevelt taught people stuff. Martin Luther King, we just had MLK Day. What did he do? What's his legacy? It's still going on today. He's still teaching people today. Here's the thing about legacy that my business partner has become a great friend, Max, told me on one of my podcasts. He said, Steve, I look at legacy this way. And he's been a CEO 8 times. So he's run a lot of companies. He's done it all. He said, have you ever watched a film? I said, yeah. He goes, well, at the end, you've got your credits, right? It's the actors, where it's located. What you think about, Steve, an audience, think about this. What are your credits going to look like when they come to your memorial? It's going to be big, small. What's it going to say? And what are they going to associate you with? And I think about that a lot when I'm meeting and working and serving people. What are my credits in my movie going to look like at the end?
I love that. And I just look down because I'm like, what are my credits going to look like? And that's why I was looking like, hold on a minute. So
it happens. People are like,
yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Steve, if people want to get hold of you, if you want to come appear on your podcast, where do you want them to go to? And I'm on LinkedIn, and the links will be below. What else? Where do you want them to connect with you?
You can email me, stever1961@gmail.com. Mention your podcast that you saw me on here or heard me on here. And I do business mentoring a couple times a month. I do the podcast. If you want to start a podcast, have a podcast, Steve Ramona on LinkedIn. I'm there all the time. We can connect. I love to connect with people and again, bring them value and do things to help them grow. Answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much for your time, your energy, and your love, as always, to serve, and not just serve people, but serve the world and make it a little bit better each day at a time. So thank you very much for your time here, Steve.
You're very welcome, and you blessed me by being a guest, and you served me, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. The honor is mine, I will assure you. My audience, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Steve. If you are listening to this and you could take one bold action away from this today, what would it be? Write it down, send it in to us. I'll pass the message on to Steve. And I've got a question for you, a question that I heard today from a mentor of mine. If you were in a situation where you wanted the world to remember you by, what is it you truly, truly want for yourself? Not to serve others, but for yourself. But that one thing change the components and the world incrementally just by that one showing up of you as that person. What is it you truly want to be? Ponder that for myself. Thank you very much. Steve, you're awesome. Like, share, subscribe, and remember, we'll be back next week with another episode of Roast Me Ashes podcast, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.